So about threats in One Piece. Wano is almost over, and two Yonkos are on the brink of being taken out, while Big Mom is already defeated. All that's left is Kaido now, which is honestly pretty crazy to think about, since Yonkos in general have been seen as this immeasurable entity in the story. Pirates that had been controlling large parts of the world for a really long time. They were first brought up probably around the time Ace met Luffy again. So for basically all of the story, Yonkos have been solidified as a peak of strength in the story, but now two of them are about to be gone by the end of Wano. So I wanted to talk about what kind of threats we can expect once Wano is over, because the story is going to have to go in a different direction now that Yonkos are at the top of the food chain. Before that though, like and subscribe for future content. Just a heads up, Yonko will definitely still be relevant. We still have Shanks, who is probably the strongest Yonko right now, and Blackbeard as well, so they won't just become irrelevant once Wano is over. They will still hold weight in the story. Each Yonko is supposed to be a big chunk of the power scale in the One Piece world, so it would be pretty hard to render them useless after all this time, but there still hasn't really been any mentions of characters who could replace them as the next main threats, because after Wano, Luffy will end up as a legitimate Yonko, so the other Yonkos can't really be main threats to him. Maybe Blackbeard, but I actually don't think he's the final villain that we will focus on. I made a video about it, so if you want you can go check that out. I won't get too in depth about it, but basically Blackbeard is supposed to be the alternate version of Luffy. I think I remember Luffy saying he wanted to take down all the Yonko in Punk Hazard. Maybe I remember it a little differently, but I definitely remember Luffy saying something like that when Luffy and Law first made their alliance, and Law was proposing his idea to take down a Yonko to Luffy. It's still really likely that the Yonko will be involved, pretty much guaranteed that they will, but they won't be the main focus as villains, or the overarching villains of the story. There's only a few other characters I can imagine replacing the Yonko. The most obvious and likely person would be Im-sama. He's the secret lord of the world government, and is controlling things behind the scenes, so I would say he has a pretty fair chance of being stronger than even Yonkos. Or maybe at this point it won't be a thing of it being a threat of power level. Characters could be threats in a lot of different ways. They could be political threats, which also ties back to Im-sama, or others that aren't necessarily strength related, or even below him the Gorosei. The Gorosei take commands to Im-sama, but they are the ones who actually run the world government, so they are also pretty likely to get involved next, which would probably lead into the Straw Hats getting involved with the Revolutionary Army. I don't know when, but at some point Dragon and Luffy are going to meet again in the story. I can't really say at what time, but maybe kind of sort of soon. There's no way they aren't going to get involved with each other, when Oda made sure to make it a point that Dragon and Luffy are related. I mean, Luffy doesn't really care about Dragon being his dad, and maybe Dragon either to an extent, but I really can't imagine Oda just never having the two of them interact. It won't be a heartwarming thing of a son meeting his dad after so long. They don't have a bad relationship or anything like that, but they don't really care about their blood relationship either, to go out of their way to go meet each other. But them teaming up for our arc would be pretty cool to see. Another candidate to replace Yonko would be Rocks. I'm pretty sure people already think this, but he isn't dead. When Sengoku was talking about Rocks, he left it open-ended on whether he was dead or not by the end of the story, so 9 times out of 10 Rocks is still alive, laying low somewhere in the world. For what reason he will come back I'm not really sure, but he's going to end up coming out around the end of the series. This is the only guy I can see still being a threat to Luffy power wise, besides like Im-sama, and I mean like way stronger than Luffy. Yonkos aren't really threats anymore, but it doesn't change the fact that they were seen as a pinnacle of strength in the world. Besides characters like Mihawk or Im-sama or Rocks, I can't see any other characters comparing to the strength of Yonkos. Shanks is probably stronger than Luffy right now, but I would like to think Luffy is within Shanks' range of strength, and the gap isn't that big anymore, and I don't see Shanks fighting Luffy anyways. They might fight at some point, but it won't be a serious type of fight. It will just be a test of strength, just a friendly spar, like how Mihawk and Shanks used to fight, but they are both cool with each other, so either Rocks or Im-sama or the Gorosei potentially. Those are pretty much the only characters that are a level up after the Yonko. That's pretty much all I had to say though. If you enjoyed, like and subscribe for future content. Peace.